And welcome, Belynda.
Hi.
Hi. So everyone, this is Belynda, who is also a certified hand-in-hand instructor. When did you certify?
I, I certified in 2017.
Oh, the
Yep.
same. Yeah. I
Yes.
did. So there we go. And so tell us a little bit about your hand-in-hand story. How did you come to us?
Um, well, not to put too fine a point on it, I came to Hand in Hand quite broken. Everything was pretty rough. I was a delighted, absolutely besotted mum of two beautiful boys, but it was a huge struggle. My oldest, was really trying to share with me how hard his birth was and how hard things were, and I was just, you know, soothing all the time. And so by the time he was a toddler, and then by the time his little brother was born, things were really rough. And I heard about Patty Whitfler from Playful Parenting. I was like, oh, I haven't seen this person before. So I started doing the online courses and found them incredibly useful, and it all made so much sense. But I still could not make it work in the moment. So the big change came when I started to use the listening partnerships piece really intentionally. And actually, everything really turned on 1 half-hour consultation I had with a hand-in-hand instructor. So this person, Anne Heffron, she's amazing. She just listened to me for 30 minutes, just blubber and lose it and really share my big feelings of shame around how hard it was and how I felt like I was failing my boys and all the things. And on the basis of that kind of 30 minutes, everything was so much better for weeks. It was incredible turnaround. And I thought, oh, I need more of this.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
great. Yeah, there's so many pieces there that I'd love to touch on. I think the main thing that we are all about is that we know that as people raising children, we should be better supported. The work that we're doing is obviously incredibly vital to the future of humanity.
Yep.
And yet it's not well funded, it's not well supported. We don't get a manual.
We
um,
don't.
there's just not enough support, and particularly, you know, for people who are underprivileged. So there's not a lot of information available and things that you can access. So that's the first point, is that we are all, as parents and caregivers, we're under supported, and there shouldn't be shame around that, though many of us feel it because we think, oh well, these other generations have done it before, and they didn't need help, and you may even have someone in your life who's saying, oh well, I did it without help, and I didn't have parenting classes or parenting
Yep.
instructors and all those sorts of things. And I guess the main thing with that is that when you know better, you do better. So as parents who are obviously tapping into our children and their emotions, we then go into our own and we do all this work, and so it becomes clear that to do it the way we want to, we do have to go deeper, and we do have to be more conscious, and we are then more aware of what's needed for everyone involved, which then means that you need support and you need help and you need information to really to grow in what you're doing. So the first piece, and I know I can't just say don't feel ashamed, but for anyone who's got that, just know that that is a very common um, breaking point, the shame. And most of us do feel it, and I think in the job that we're doing, we feel it quite often. And when we're raising children, we are often prone to being judged and feeling judged, and so that's another element of it too. We often judge ourselves worse than those we think are judging us. So yes, so thank you. All of that was, yeah, that was very helpful. And so what then led you to certification from there?
Just I just think that one experience was enough for me to go, I want as much of this in my life as I can get. I did feel a little bit overwhelmed when I first saw the certification kind of outline. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to fit all of this in? Like, it's quite a rigorous process. Like, you really get a lot of opportunities for learning. But what I found was, within like a few weeks, I was like, how am I going to cope at the end of this year when I don't have all these structures of support? Because it's the most supportive, nurturing learning experience I'd ever had. I'd done lots of different university study. I'd done lots of other, courses of study and learning. This was really profound. It's a really, like I say, really nurturing.
Mm.
And it also is a very, like, that meta awareness of what are you bringing to this process and how can we support you it's quite extraordinary, life-changing,
Mm.
really. And I think that piece around, as we get that more and more support, more spaces for us to share our hard moments, our vulnerabilities, our shame, our own resilience and capacity and leadership skills really build, such that we are then able to do things like this, which, if you'd said to me 10 years ago, I would be like, what? So these days I work a little bit online delivering this work, but I work 4 days a week for a not for profit, supporting families in Perth, the city that I live in, delivering mostly hand in hand, but all connection focused, relationship driven, attachment based programs. So it's ended up being something that I get to offer to the world as my job.
Yeah,
So
that's brilliant. Yeah, so many things there too. First of all, so Belynda's in Perth, I'm in Sydney. So we have over 250 certified instructors globally, and we do want to try and make sure that we are meeting the needs all over the world of people. So that's really important. And with what you said about the certification, so the program itself is a 10-month program, and roughly 2 to 3 hours a week of materials and work. And you'll also have a support call, which is led by a hand-in-hand certified instructor, and then includes the other participants in the group. And it will be small groups so that you can have safety for things like, as you mentioned before, the listening partnership. So it's also a great way to first find your feet in terms of building community. And again, one of the things that we're lacking in raising children is the village. So that whole model of a whole bunch of people being present and sharing the load of raising young people is missing in most of our communities. So it gives you that little taste of what that looks like and why you need it. And then it also can give you the skills and the motivation to try and build it as well. And then the other piece that Belynda touched on is, okay, so you then get immersed in this course, which again is also about you and supporting you and the children in your life. So most of that work is less work and more experimenting with these amazing tools in your family or in your workplace or in your community. So it's not even really work. It helps you and your whole family. And so then you do get to this point where you go, okay, and then after, what's going to happen to me? Or am I going to go back to this point? And the other wonderful thing, and I think it's unique as well to this organization, is that you are not left alone after that. So after that, you can become a member of the Instructor Hub, and that allows you access to training beyond anything you could imagine. We've just done some really great learning, collaboration.
collaborative,
Um, so,
yeah.
and so deep diving into systemic stuff, into all this amazing, incredible stuff, and the training we've gotten is worth thousands, and that's just been given to us as instructors. And then we also have a support group that then will ask questions in the field. So if you come up with something curly as you're going into the world and practicing and using our tools and teaching, we then support each other in that space as well. So I think it's just the most nurturing environment. And the work that we're doing, it is so aligned with that sort of approach. But then in a lot of ways, it's very hard to make that happen and keep that going. And I think that Hand in Hand is very proactive in doing that and does a really great job of that.
I definitely agree. There's a real infrastructure of support there. There's sort of 4 support calls a month that you can access at various different time zones. There's the learning collaborative in the middle of the year. There's the communities of practice a couple of times a year, which was like 2 10 weeks. So there's just a ton, and the team are just amazing. If you hit any, like I've found a few tricky spots as I navigate bringing this to a not-for-profit, and say Emily at the admin, she's always so helpful, and they're really great at supporting you on the ground. And I think, as you said, having that year or that 10 months together, you build really strong relationships, right? I certainly feel like I have, so that I still have listening partnerships with quite a few of the people that I went through in my small cohort with. And I've also ended up joining some kind of grassroots within the instructor community groups, like the book club and all sorts of different things. So there's beautiful ways that we set it up as well at times, and in ways that suit our needs, as well as that infrastructure of support from the organisation. So it's pretty great.
It is, yeah. So what would your advice be to anyone who's sort of thinking about it and not sure?
My advice would be what my advice is about so many things, and that is find someone who can listen well to you while you figure it out, while you explore why you can't possibly do this, and why this is a crazy idea, and why there's no way you could ever be an instructor at something like this when your kid behaves in this way, or why there's no way you could fit this into a busy life, or why it's, the money, or whatever it is. Having someone listen with warmth and care to you as you kind of just feel all the feelings about that means that you will figure out what's best for you and your family, and how you could make it work, or whether you want to leave it till next year. But I would say try and jump on it if you can.
Again, so many pearls of wisdom in that. So one point is that we do, the prerequisite to doing the certification is you do need to have done one of our foundation courses. So that would be for parents and caregivers, for educators, or for professionals. And so that's always sort of getting on the front foot with this now, so that you have time to do one of those instructor-led courses before certification applications open in April. And then there was the other piece of, how can I help other parents when my family life isn't going brilliantly? Or, there's all these elements to that. And I can certainly attest to feeling that way 95% of the time. Sometimes, my eldest even says, how can you be giving people advice on parenting?
But you're very good at your job.
Exactly. We did have a beautiful moment recently where I was able to really stay, listen, and hold space for one of my good friends' children, and it was really great to have my children sort of watching on it and going, okay, when this isn't, in our household, I can really see how it works in the world. And it was just very validating for me as an instructor, going, look at this, like, look how magic this is. And particularly this incident happened like at 11 p.m. at night. The parents are loving and connected and were happy to do all of that themselves. But they were also happy for me to step in at that point, and I did it without the heat and and that's what's different when it's in your own household. You have a lot of stuff that you bring to the table, whereas I was just like, boom, I've got this. I know exactly what this child needs, and I've got the capacity to do it, and it's going to be actually quite enjoyable for both of us.
That's a good story.
Yeah. So it's great. And then, so please don't feel any hesitation because your life isn't going perfectly. Again, that 10 months will help things run a lot smoother. So you get that. And in terms of finances, as Belynda said, if that's holding you back, we do have some scholarships available. We do also have payment plans that can be flexible to people's needs. We really do want to see a real great range of people coming to this, and particularly we want to tap into some countries that may be underserved at the moment. So anything like that that's standing in your way, come on in and let us know, what it is getting in the way of you going ahead, and let us know. And then, yes, as Belynda said, listening, always a solution to any of your problems. So thank you so much for joining me today. If anyone would like more information, comment certify at the on the comments, or just send us a DM and we'll send you out all the information. As I said, so you need to do the foundations first, so it's a great time to get on that. There's a lot on offer at any one time. You can do it online or in person. And again, that will just be so helpful to yourself and your community or your household, or wherever you're going to be using our tools, and you won't look back. So thank you so much, Belynda, for joining me. Really appreciate all your wisdom. And yeah, so here's to the class of 2017.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Bye.